Hello everybody, Andy here again. Well, recently I've talked a lot about digital memories and putting all your memories up there into the cloud computing world or into the internet space, should we say. And thinking about this myself and thinking, well, I haven't really done it myself. I've been inspired by other people, hence some of those earlier videos as well. A couple of people I will mention, Margaret over there in America, who goes by the name of A33, I believe, who started doing this sort of digital thing where she's trying to get all of her memories, or at least certain parts of her life, digitised, putting things up there for posterity, and maybe even a university taking some interest in maybe holding these because of what she's done in her life, to go over her life story. Another thing, some people don't like the man, but Renetto is now back on YouTube, and what he's doing, he's using his new iPhone with a video feature, and he's doing what he's calling live streaming. Doesn't appeal to everybody. He's just recording snippets of his life just every day, even more than once a day, being very open, very honest, and just showing you what he's doing. You know, he leads a fairly interesting life. But another interesting way of doing it. Some of that's fascinating, some of it's boring, which is exactly what he says. That's what life's like. The other thing that started me, I've been reading this book. Anyone who sees me, I think it's Daily Booth, or should I say every so often Booth for me. I put this up there the other day, and it's called I Was Bono's Doppelganger, a Life in the Shadows of Superstardom. It's written by a guy called Neil McCormick, who I actually follow on Twitter. He's a music journalist over here in the UK, but he went to school with the guys from U2. He was in bands at the same time with U2. His brother was originally in the band, etc. There's so many connections, so he's known them for a long time, and he used to be in bands as well before he sort of went off into journalism. His life took a different stance, I suppose, a different little avenue. And reading that book, and having read other books in a similar sort of way about, you know, people's formative years and that with music, I thought, well, I recognised so much of my early life in that, with starting to play the drums, being so involved with music, and even the situations in the school where the bands were getting together, and the little sort of political stuff, and the friends, you know, and all those sort of little minute details. And I thought, well, that life's not that dissimilar to what mine was like. Yes, it took, for Bono and Larry and Adam and the Edge and all that, it took a completely different turn somewhere, and they went up that way and I went along sideways, which is exactly what happened to Neil McCormick with that book as well. But that sort of got me thinking about things that I'd done in my life, and I've spoken before about the music that I used to play years ago. And I thought, well, I ought to put some of this down myself, if only for myself. Whether it ever comes out to you guys or whatever, I really have not got a clue. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do this in a video format or if I'm going to do it in an audio format. I even might try and write some of it down eventually. I don't know, try and transcribe my thoughts, trying to think about this. And the more I've thought about it, I say that book especially has made me sort of think and remember things that I've pretty much forgotten, but they've gone back there in the mists of time, you know, all those years ago. And I knew that I had some cassette tapes. I don't think you can see over here all these cassette tapes, but all these are tapes from the bands that I've been in over the years, and they're cassettes, you know. And that's the point. I was thinking, you must be. I know you can get like turntables for vinyl to turn it into MP3s, and I've seen something where you can get something to transcribe old cassette tapes on there as well. So if anybody knows of any links in the UK that I can use, here we are, these old things for some of you out there. These are cassette tapes, guys. I used to put these in Walkmans years ago, and I'm very tempted to play this particular one because this is from, I'm going to ruin it, but I've forgotten about this one. Some of this was recorded on the 1st of March 1975 when I was the grand age of, hang on, I'm going to think about that now. That's quite a long, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Yes, I was 17 years old at the time. So, and that's when I first started playing the drums in the first band that I was ever in. When I remember rehearsing, I can remember where this was recorded. It was recorded in like a warehouse on a Saturday morning. We used to rehearse in this place on an industrial estate somewhere. And I started playing the drums. I'd never played the drums before in my life, and then someone convinced me that I ought to go and buy a drum kit and start playing it, which is exactly the same as so many other bands start. Do you read the book there about Bono and the guys there? These people had never played bass or never played guitar or just tinkered around on things. I think, yeah, I'll have a go at this. Someone thought I would be able to play the drums. I went out and bought a drum kit, as you do. And the rest, as they say, is history. Not quite the same history as Larry Mullen Jr.'s maybe, but It's an interesting history as far as I'm concerned. Whether it's interesting as far as other people are concerned, I don't know. But one of the parts of this is I'm going to try and give this a listen. I should imagine it sounds pretty bloody terrible. But most bands, when they first start their first ever drum kit, guitar lesson, whatever it might be, isn't going to sound as great as a CD that you've probably got in your collection, is it? But it's your memory, it's your history, it's my memories, and I'm starting to forget them. I used to have I've been frantically searching around in the bedroom here, under the bed, in all these things that I've got bits and pieces in, and old suitcases with rubbish and things from your past life in. Luckily, it hasn't been thrown out, but I know that I had a piece of paper with all the gigs that I ever did in the early years when I was playing the drums in bands, and I'm talking obviously 1975, 6, 7, 8, 9 and all that sort of stuff, and early 80s as well. And I had all of those gigs written down, and the point of this maybe is that I can't find that now. Now, that's one reason for doing this type of thing, or sort of planning what I intend to do. Hopefully I will get around to it. You know what it's like, you make all these grand plans, you think about these things, and then, oh no, I won't bother. But I've got the tapes out. I'm going to try and listen to some of them and see what they like, and hopefully digitise them, if only for myself, not for necessarily for anybody else. I can keep them to remind me of what it was like. We all, we have varying childhoods, we have varying lives, don't we? We enjoy different bits of it, and other bits aren't quite so good. But that was a time that I remember that was great. I loved playing the music. Something that I regret that I stopped doing. I still like to do it, but life moves on as it does. But I remember those sort of formative years, and it might make me think, what if, and I was in that position. We wanted to rule the world and all that sort of stuff. We wanted to be the next big thing. We did some things when I played in drums in local communities, very similar to what bands like U2 and other bands did. We were the first band in the area to do this, we were the first band to do that type of thing. You think, if only, well, what might have been, I suppose. So I'm going to do that. Think about that yourself. We lead different lives, some more exciting than others, but we all have a story to tell in some way or other, even if it's only for yourself, or leaving it for your children or something you can look back on maybe in years to come, and you've got this audio like a big podcast or something. You can chop it up into chapters, you can write your own little life story or something, or you can do it on video, whether you post it up here so that everybody else can see it, or whether you just do it for yourself or for others who might be friends or something like that. So that's what I'm going to do. As I said, I have no idea whether this is going to see the light of day as far as you people are concerned. I shall see. Maybe you can leave me some comments if you feel that way. I'm not suggesting, if everybody turns around and says, yeah, we want to know about this, I'm not saying it's going to happen. But we shall see, and maybe I shall start thinking about it. The more I think about it, the more I think back, and I remember certain times, certain days and events or something, certain gigs even. I've got, hang on, let's find it, where is it? I have one here. Oh, I have something I have transcribed from some gigs that I've got tapes of or something. One from the 5th of October 1985, and one from the Mean Fiddler in London, actually, on the 20th of May 1986, and that's all the songs that we played there. So I've got some of it, but there's a lot more to do, there's a lot more to find. I'm just hoping I can find that list of gigs I was talking about, because that's something that it's just one of those sort of treasure mementos. It's one of those things from your life that you can look back and say, yeah, I did that, and you forget these things. As I said, I'm forgetting things, I'm losing things already. Those tapes might have been thrown away in a few more years' time, because you think, well, I can't play them anymore, what's the point of keeping them? We've all been there, haven't we? We throw things away. I can think of things that I've thrown away and I think, God, yeah, what on earth did I throw that away for? Now you want it because it means something. We move forward all the time. Yes, we don't want to keep a load of rubbish and clutter, I understand that, but there are certain things we will always regret throwing away. There are always certain things that you'll forget, that you'll regret not remembering for some reason or other. I'm quite often have conversations with people who remind me of things that happened years ago, and you can't remember them. So now's the time, maybe, whatever age you are, it doesn't really matter really, to keep things. People keep diaries. We're doing this in a way, as I've said before, but there's all that life before YouTube that we could still catalogue for ourselves or for anyone else. So that's my little project. As I said, whether it will see the light of day for you, for me, for anyone, who knows. But I'm going to certainly give it some thought, and that's better than nothing. At least if I start thinking about it, it's more likely to happen than not even giving it a thought in the first place. Maybe I've given you a little nudge in that direction too. Anyway, I'll just speak to you again soon. Goodbye.